Thank you, Janet. I decided to run for supervisor because I can and will do a better job for our community than what's been done. My 18 years of directing the September Day Senior Center demonstrates my ability to manage multiple projects, manage finances, to deal effectively with a multitude of personalities in a fair and forthright manner, and to maintain excellent working relationships with management and the workforce. That is extremely important in this business, because if you can't communicate with your employees and make them feel that they're worth something, you can't manage those employees. And collective bargaining agreements are just another big fight if you don't have a rapport with your employees. I prided myself on supervising over 200 volunteers while I was the director of the Senior Center, and every single one of them, I'm firmly convinced, were good volunteers because I never asked them to do anything I wasn't willing to do myself. And I always said thank you. People have to know that they're appreciated. Yes, we're buying X amount of hours of their time every day as employees, but they still have to feel some self-worth. And it's up to supervisors and managers to make them feel that. My tenure as president of the Michigan Association of Senior Centers demonstrates my ability to deal with colleagues on the local, state, county, and national levels. I have had to deal with a number of people at the national level through my association with MASC. I'm very familiar with that. Residents, employees, and business partners all need to be treated with courtesy, respect, and fairness. As was mentioned earlier, residents come to the podium at board meetings and they cannot get a question answered. There is no reason for that. Every department has a staff. Every department can have that. Every department head can have that staff research that question and have an answer for them, maybe the next day, but certainly by the next board meeting. There should be no questions unanswered that residents have. All board members need to be informed and share in the responsibility of decision making. As I said before, it's not a one-man show. I know that our board members have the residents' best interests at heart. We need a leader who can bring cooperation and cohesiveness to the forefront, and I am that leader, and I will appreciate your vote on August 7th. Thank you.
A lot of people have asked me why I'm running for supervisor. It sounds silly. My root reason for running is because I want to make a difference. It sounds silly. It sounds idealistic. I've spent my career making money for people. I've run the finances of companies, large and small. I've worked in tax departments that helped cut the tax burden, increase the bottom line. And making money for people and making money for the owners is the reason that business is there. The reason township is there is to produce quality of life. I'd like to make a difference and improve the quality of life in our township. I'd like to bring our property values back up. I'd like to bring to our township businesses, increase our retail areas. I mean, I've heard a lot of voices that we'd like to have a meat market, a fruit market. I grew up near Westbourne Market. I grew up in the meat industry as well. And I really appreciate having a great grocery store. I know that sounds like a silly, simple thing, but we also need to bring jobs. We are the only place in Wayne County that has 2 expressways, an airport, another airport 5 minutes away, and a lake. Any business would be silly not to want to settle here. We have great access to the expressway for distribution and to the airports. We should be able to attract businesses here that are going to bring in jobs, revenue, and contribute to the community. We should be able to get our townships houses, the subdivisions that are started and left half unfinished. We need to focus on getting those finished and cleaning those up. We have one that's an utter wreck that's a legal nightmare that has to be resolved, and we have several others that have hundreds of houses not built. We need to address those. We need to get these subdivisions maintained, and so far the township has been doing a great job. I'm actually on the Homeowners Association for Country Walk 1. I've been on the board since the board existed. We started off so far in the red it wasn't even funny. With the cooperation of the board members and myself as the president, we were actually able to bring ourselves into the black, operate as a cohesive group, and now we're actually considering paving our trails and possibly building a clubhouse. we've been able to take our finances from where they were and bring them forward because we were working together. That's a skill I bring to the table. I'm able to work with people. I'm able to work with board members. I bring extensive business background in finance, in personal relationships, and I can bring these things to the table and build a cohesive group that can get the job done. The employees who are with the township are the greatest asset of the township. We have people who have been within this township, working for the township for 20 and 30 years. They have so much knowledge that they can bring to the table, but right now, their advice falls on deaf ears. As a matter of fact, they're afraid to give their advice because of fear of retaliation. Any business I've ever run had the red card. Any business I've ever run, the employees at the front lines are the ones who know how to run the business the best. Thank you.
1997, I went to my first board meeting. Don Gloucester was our supervisor. Continued to go on occasion. I learned real quick, the board meetings, it's the easiest part of the job. You're managing a meeting. So I had to learn more about it over the years. I started getting more active. Probably by the mid-2000s, I considered myself a political activist. So I wasn't afraid to speak my mind, to speak up for my neighbors, or speak on a subject I didn't agree with. So what's that do? It makes me want to get involved. Anything I've ever gotten involved with, I've started at the ground floor, and I've decided if I can do something better, I want to get involved. I think that Van Buren Township has a lot of assets. You know, everyone always wants to say, well, the people, the lake. We don't do anything with the lake. We don't do anything with the people. It's got to start with a leader that understands that, first of all, we take care of the basic safety needs of our people in our community. Once we've got a safe community, our school was finally turned around. We're going to have a brand new high school. Now we've got to start proving we have a safe community. We're not a premier community. By far, we are not a premier community. But we can be. But we've got to be a safe community first. We've got to take care of our public safety department first and foremost. Our seniors have paid their dues. We want to provide the services for our seniors, but we've got to make sure they're safe getting to the senior center to enjoy the amenities that we have there. Having all the nice things we have on Tyler Road doesn't do anyone any good if they're afraid to leave their house to go there. We're not quite there yet, but take a look around. It doesn't take long to get there, people. If you want to start cutting, don't cut public safety first. Make us a safe community. We're going to have a good school system. That makes people want to come here. That makes people want to move here, buy houses here, maybe even start building houses here again, somewhere down the road. If we're providing a safe atmosphere, it makes businesses want to come here. No one wants to go to a place where their employees can't be safe. It all starts with public safety, and that's one department that's gotten beaten up the most over the last few years. That's the one that should have gotten beaten up the least. They're always there when we call. Our firefighters are there. Morning, day, doesn't matter. They're always there. They're professionals. Our police department have the most professionals of anyone else at that building, but we take it for granted here the last couple of years. It starts with public safety. We build on that. We take care of our seniors. We take care of the little people in our community. The children are our future. That's our foundation. That's the basement. You know, don't laugh and say, oh, he's going to talk about Little League again. Yes, I am. I'm going to talk about Van Buren soccer, too. I'm going to talk about some of the programs we have for our little children at the recreation department at our township hall. We've got to provide stuff for the little people to do, for our seniors to do, but we've got to provide a safe environment for it to happen in. We've got to maintain the level that we have and improve on it right now. There's ways of doing that through bargaining, through some creative understandings with our employees, because they are our best asset, truly.
So I can tell you, when I announced to my friends and family that I was going to run for office, the first thing the fellow said to me is, "You're crazy, don't do it. Don't do it. It ruins your life forever." And then the neighbors would say, "Why are you doing this? Do you know what you're in for?" Okay? And I'm going to tell you, again, I'm going to go back to the steel mill. I had the toughest area in the mill, and I was lucky because nobody else wanted it. Okay? And I would go back and forth with the union, and they'd go back and forth with me. And it never got personal. And today I can tell you, a lot of these guys, we're friends today. We go to the casino together, we go to lunch together, we talk about the good old times. But when I watch this board meeting, it's dysfunctional. Okay, it is unbelievable. And I'll concede you need a strong leader. But there are also supposed to be 6 other adults in the room. And it isn't there. And it's because they don't like each other, and they take it personally. Instead of just getting together, people from different diversities, sharing ideas, asking questions, coming to a common ground, and then be able to get in front of the township and say, here's what our plan is, and here's why we want to do it. Probably cut through 80% of the malarkey if you would do it that way. But it doesn't happen that way. It starts like, ask him, you know, not them, but him. Okay? It has to stop.
Thank you.
And I think that because of my background, and being a little thick-skinned, I can help the township. Thank you.
I think the first time I ran because I was asked to join a team that was there. And I decided I really like the job. I like the people. I like helping the people. And I like doing what I can to help what I see that they need. And also as a member of the board, I sit on a lot of different commissions. I sat on the South Huron Valley Sewer Commission. In probably the last 10 years, I've learned more about sewage and where it goes than probably anybody ever needed to know. But I know that. I've served on the Library Commission. I have served on the Museum Commission. I also serve on the Planning Commission. I have served on the Community Block Grant. So I have seen the limited amount of federal funds that we get keep diminishing and diminishing. But we keep striving to make it work for the residents of Van Buren Township. I've been married to my husband Bill for 48 years. We've raised 3 children. I've watched a lot of growth in the township. I probably shouldn't say this, but when I got married, Haggerty Sub didn't exist in that area. My husband has farmed that for years. We're probably one of the lone farmers left in Wayne County. Bill's got the sweet corn in, and so he's happy as a lark and hopes to be out there in July. So we keep everybody happy that way. But I like people. I live here. I've raised my family here. I have grandchildren living here. It's important to me to what happens to this township. That's why I continue to serve. I think I'm an asset. There's no problem. Communication has been a problem, which is anybody has watched it. But I would say that it's not necessarily because we don't like each other. There's been a communication failure from on top. I think we need to correct that. I think we can correct that. And I think that's why I want to serve, because we can work together. And that is the most important thing, is we have to learn to communicate. You can't just say this is what it's going to be because I want it. This whole process was supposed to be photographed, I understand. It was requested. But Mr. White said, no, that couldn't happen. I think that was wrong. I think the people of the community that couldn't be here should be able to watch that if they wanted to. There again, there needs to be communication. It's not a one person making the decisions for a township. There are 7 people serving in each of our counties. So I would like to request your continued support of me, and I look forward to your vote on August 8th.